Napoleon Bonaparte was a French military and political leader who is considered one of the most influential figures in European history. He was born in Corsica, August 15, 1769, and he was the child of a poor minor noble who sent him to military school where he had a hard time fitting in but was a brilliant student.
At 25 years old, the Committee of Public Safety appointed him brigadier general. He was a great commander in artillery, but when the Committee of Public Safety fell, he was thrown in jail for knowing Robespierre's brother. This made him want to leave and join forces of another European power. But when the public revolted against the Directory, they asked for his help getting rid of the mob. He easily did this with what is known as the whiff of grape shot. He continued to become a loved French general by winning every battle and treating his troops well. With this popularity, he took the French troops to Egypt to cut off English trade routes. He easily defeated the Mamluks in the Battle of the Pyramids, cut off Britain, and even found the Rosetta Stone. But the news of his wife cheating made him secretly leave his troops.
When the Directory was overthrown, Napoleon was given a spot as one of the 3 consuls in the new government. He easily persuaded the other 2 consuls to withdraw, and that made him first consul. In 1804, he crowned himself emperor. Napoleon brought back the Catholic Church in the Concordat of 1801, but his most influential move as emperor was establishing the Napoleonic Code, which unified all 300 separate local legal systems in France. His bureaucratic system succeeded by appointing officers in the government based on merit instead of bloodline, but he did not do this completely because he appointed his family members to important spots in the government of France.
Napoleon made peace in France in 1802, but war shortly started back up in 1803. Austria, Britain, Russia, and Prussia created the Third Coalition against France. His popularity shortly ended with a tragic loss in Russia where only about 1/10 of the soldiers returned, and a loss at Trafalgar, which was lost because of a bold move by Lord Admiral Nelson. This caused the French to surrender. They imprisoned Napoleon and turned him over to Britain, who imprisoned him on Elba. This was a bad move. Elba is near Corsica, where he had friends. He escaped for 100 days and slowly built up an army as he made his way to Paris. He had his final battle at Waterloo. The forces of Austria, Britain, and Russia were almost finished off by Napoleon's gigantic army. However, the Prussian army came in the nick of time to win the battle. Napoleon was then exiled to St. Helena, where he died 6 years later.
I think that Napoleon, for the most part, was beneficial for France. He, of course, was an excellent general, but also tried to put many of the ideals of the French Revolution into practice, although as he gained more and more power and became more of a megalomaniac, he started to violate many of the ideals of the French Revolution that had initially brought him to power. So in the long run, he certainly was good for France and provided excellent leadership and organization and elevated France to very strong international position, although that will lead to kind of disastrous consequences for them in the long run. End.
Yeah, bonjour or good afternoon. Yes, Napoleon is no doubt a tyrant. For a lot of people, he's a butcher. He's responsible for the death in just one campaign of up to 600,000 soldiers. This took place, for example, in 1812 in the Russian campaign when he went to Moscow, and the French army walked all the way back to Vilnius. And as they were dying in Vilnius, Napoleon left them on his carriage and went back to Paris to try and salvage his role as the leader of France. That is not the first time that he did abandon the French army. And it is not the first time that hundreds of thousands of French people died in one battle. This already took place in Egypt, where he again already abandoned the French army to go back to Paris and maintain his fame. That's it.